From the Greenhouse, it's the Adam Ragusia podcast, episode 80, with a special guest who needs no introduction, with this audience at least, J. Kenji Lopez Alt. Kenji, I have a premise for your consideration. Are you ready for it?
All right, sounds good. Bear in mind that I just agreed to do this podcast like a couple hours ago, right? So no preparation.
Oh, so you didn't set out your like commemorative figurines on the windowsill in the background just for me?
Those are Star Wars figurines.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. No further explanation needed. All right, here, premise for your consideration. Complaining that pumpkin spice doesn't really have pumpkin in it is like complaining that there's no steak in your steak sauce.
That sounds fair. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Uh-huh. I think that we should talk about like pumpkin spice, what it is, and the weird kind of social dynamics that have arisen around this particular spice mixture in recent years.
Okay.
So pumpkin spice.
Did it just have an anniversary? Did the Starbucks pumpkin spice latte just have an anniversary, I think? Like 20 years or something?
One presumes.
Something like that.
I'm sure the marketing department can come up with any occasion to mark with the artificial scarcity of their product coming in and out of season, right, as Girl Scout cookies do. And I love it with Girl Scout cookies. So yeah, pumpkin spice. So first thing, everybody complains that, there's no pumpkin in the Starbucks pumpkin spice latte or any of the other pumpkin spice things. But of course, that's ridiculous. Pumpkin spice is a mixture of spices traditionally used with pumpkin and pumpkin products.
Correct.
And it usually consists of, let's see, ginger, cinnamon.
Yeah. Yep.
Nutmeg for sure.
Allspice, I think.
Allspice commonly.
Sometimes a little bit of cloves.
Cloves, maybe some mace, which is the weird waxy red stuff that grows around the nutmeg nut.
Right. It's like the webbing of the...
Yeah. Do you know what botanical part that is? I have no idea.
I got no idea.
See, it's good.
I don't even know how many botanical parts I could name.
Dude, it's good for people like you and me to have these conversations, because then like people can see like, like Adam and Kenji, they're normal humans. They just look stuff up before they talk about it on the internet, right? That's the superpower. Right. You just look stuff up. It's not you're a genius, although you are a genius, Kenji, but not because...
Through the power of looking it up.
Through the power of looking it up ahead of time, exactly, which is the collective knowledge of our species, and we should not be ashamed about that, because what makes us powerful is not our individual abilities, but our collective abilities. Anywho, I found references going back to like, Elizabethan recipes calling for something like pumpkin spice or a pumpkin pie with these kinds of spices in it. I think it's a good way for us to like really like remember the reason for the season, which is of course
the reason for the
colonialism.
The reasoning for the seasoning. Also.
Damn. God, if this was old media and we were looking for like really cheap puns for headlines, you would have just had the headline for the thing. God, do you think?
Yeah, I remember with in my Cook's Illustrated days, I had the thesaurus up a lot, and the rhyming dictionary up a lot.
Do you think anyone actually likes the puns that we used to write for print headlines, or is that purely a thing that we did for ourselves, thinking that other people liked it?
I liked it. Which I guess that does not answer your question at all. I don't know. I don't think my wife appreciated it very much. No, my daughter likes puns.
Yeah.
But she's 6.
Kids love puns.
And I don't think she was reading Cook's Illustrated, but. By the way, the mace is the aril of the nutmeg.
Oh, of course, and the aril is of course
through the power of looking it up right now.
The part of the nipple that is around the pointy part.
Or it sounds like
One presumes.
That a pun? I don't know. All right.
So. Apparently, it's an old English concept, right? It's been around in the English-speaking world for about 400 years. The idea that like there is a set of spices that you would use in pumpkin things that you would then generally eat in the fall or the winter, because pumpkin is a fall crop that will then keep in like a root cellar all winter long. So that's why we think of it as a cold weather dish, right?
Right. It's probably also why those same spices are, at least there's big overlap with things like apple pie.
Yeah. So why are those the cold weather spices? I mean, I get that they probably ended up. Well, could it just be that they ended up in holiday dishes in the English-speaking world because they were expensive? And so to celebrate, you would have your allspice because you had just at the expense of a crew of 200 sailors who all died of scurvy, plus untold thousands of indigenous peoples that you genocided in order to get that allspice, right? Like, you've done a lot for that allspice, and so you're not gonna like put it in just any pie. It's gonna be in your Christmas pie, right?
Allspice came from the New World, right? It grows in like the Caribbean, right? I believe.
Sure. That sounds like a thing that would be true.
I believe it's the same as like pimento wood, like what jerk chicken is cooked over, is the wood of the allspice.
Spices are like freshwater tropical fish that we keep in aquaria. They are all either from South America, Sub-Saharan Africa, or Southeast Asia.
Right. So I feel like, is the theme of this episode going to be speculating on things we could have looked up beforehand, but didn't?
That's a good name for our show. You keep that in your back pocket for the next time we're in a meeting with some cigar chomping media executives. Right. They're gonna love that. It's just like Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. That worked. That pitch worked.
It did.
Anywho, okay, so pumpkin spice. So it's this assortment of spices that perhaps maybe came to be associated with cold weather because they were expensive, and therefore you would only expend that ordinance on special occasions like your winter solstice holidays.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, for me at least, there's an association with those fall spices and the winter spices that, it's, you use them at a time when it's cold outside and you're going to be, and you have like a pot of something, you have the oven going, or you have like a pot of cider on the stovetop, or you're mulling some wine, right? And so those spices, they kind of permeate the air.
Is mulling just like steeping the spices in the cider? Or you just hot cider put in the spices? That's mulling.
That's essentially mulling. Okay. Yeah. That's what I would call mulling. But to me, it's like you have it in a enclosed room, and it makes the whole space smell like it. And maybe it's like a small stone cottage that is heated by a fireplace. Because
we all know that the Elizabethan people who would have allspice would be the residents of small enclosed spaces, right? And not like people in a manor house. Yeah.
Right. Well, the servants in the
they would have enjoyed it, redolent of those Christmas spices. Really, really nice for the help.
Right.
Yeah. I guess it could also be that because a lot of spices have those like chemisthetic effects, right, where they stimulate the pain receptors that we have for sensing heat burning, right?
Or they dull them also.
And so did some of these spices end up in cold weather classics because they are warming? But black pepper isn't in pumpkin spice.
No, but so speculating again, but based on, I believe that black pepper is only popular because of one of the Louis who insisted on only salt and black pepper. Is that correct?
Dude, is that a thing? I've always wondered why pepper is the counterpart to salt in Western cuisine. It seems really random and odd.
I'm pretty sure it's because one of the Louis, maybe the 14th, something like that, was very picky and insisted that the only spice he wanted was black pepper.
Oh my God, it really is because it was a finicky white man couldn't handle spice. That's really what it was? Jesus.
I believe so, yep.
You know what's funny about black pepper is that's one of these spices where like
6 chickens he ate a day.
That's right. Well, it's what gave him such a powerful build. Black pepper is this thing that just like any other white person, I just kind of put in reflexively for no particular reason. And yet it's always striking to me how every now and then I'll put a bunch of pepper in something and it will smack me in the face. Usually soup or something like that. A lot of it. Right?
Yeah, or something like cacio e pepe.
Yeah.
There are dishes that are based on pepper, but but otherwise, I had a video I put out, I don't know, a few weeks ago where, so I keep a black pepper mill and a white pepper mill on my counter by the stove.
Why the white pepper mill?
Well, so that's so people were like, you keep white pepper in a pepper mill? It's like, yeah, I keep black pepper in a pepper mill. Why wouldn't I? Like, they're like, I've only ever seen white pepper powdered, or I've only ever used white pepper pre-powdered. It's like, well, like, why do we grind black pepper fresh but not white pepper?
Well,
fresh? Like most.
I get it. I just don't get why you're prioritizing having white pepper in your life. I mean, isn't it purely for cosmetic reasons?
No, it has a distinctly, I don't know if you've smelled it, but smell them side by side. It has a pretty distinctly different aroma.
It's just the interior of the peppercorn, right? It's like it's had its shell taken off or whatever.
Exactly. But
arugula or whatever botanical part that is.
Almost a little, probably also an aril. I don't know. It's a little, to me, sort of a little like skunkier and a little, but it's a very common spice in a lot of Chinese cooking. And so I use it frequently in that, some Thai cooking as well. So like if the flavor, the peppery flavor that you get in, say, a hot and sour soup is white pepper, and it tastes distinctly different from black pepper, which has more of a sort of sharp heat.
Interesting.
As opposed to white pepper, sort of more, I don't know, milder heat, but a little stronger aroma, I find.
Assuming you can taste it at all. And what these moments always like make me wonder, like when I actually taste my black pepper, I wonder, like, am I ever tasting it in the other times, right? Yeah. Like, is it one of those things that, like, yes, there's bass in Metallica's Justice for All record, and if it was gone, you would notice its absence, but you don't really notice it being there either. Like, I don't know if that's what pepper usually is in my food, or if really it's expensive pee, like a bad vitamin,
People feel, people ask that most frequently, I think, about bay leaves. It's like an internet meme almost that bay leaves are useless, where, and it is one of those things where, unless it's like a very sort of, like a very bay leaf forward, say bechamel, or something like that, where it's a relatively neutral flavor. Otherwise, when you stick some bay leaves in your chicken stock, or you stick them into your simmering bolognese or whatever, you're not going to eat it at the end and say, oh, that's bay leaf. But if you do taste it side by side, you will notice, oh, this one's a little bit rounder, a little bit more, a little bit. It's got that bass note in it that your brain doesn't notice it, but your mouth does.
Yeah. One time I was making a joke about how bay leaves may or may not do something, and I got an email from a Brazilian viewer who said, I don't know what you're talking about, because anytime I let a bay leaf touch my food, it completely permeates it with flavor. And I'm like, is Brazilian bay a different thing?
Well, that is a good question, because there are two distinct types of bay leaf that we get in the U.S. The dried bay leaves are almost always Turkish bay, whereas fresh bay leaves that we get in the U.S. and sometimes dried also are California bay, and they're two different plants.
Yeah, that's like eucalyptus, isn't it?
Leaves, they both have that kind of eucalyptusy aroma and sensation, but the California one is much stronger. And so if you put a California bay leaf and use it the same way that you would use a Turkish bay leaf, you get a much stronger sort of eucalyptus aroma. There's also Indian bay, which is a different plant, but is, sometimes I use it relatively interchangeably with Turkish bay, although they do have a different aroma. But they offer sort of the same, it's kind of like a, it's like a Rickenbacker base versus a Strat
Look
base.
At this guy extending the metaphor. He knows about an arc, this guy. Yeah, I hear you. Side note, I think that probably there is like a TikTok account called Turkish Bay, where it's just like one of those handsome guys who sits down in a suit in a hotel room and then snaps his fingers, and then he's just not wearing a shirt anymore. That's probably Turkish Bay's account on TikTok.
All right.
Or it could be Turkish bay leaves. I don't know. Bay and black pepper neither of those are in pumpkin spice, so I'm not quite sure why we're talking about that. But, hey, this is gold. You get Kenji and Ragusia on the mics, and it's gold. Okay? I'm sorry. We spin gold. Getting Kenji on the pod is it's like getting rich to me. If you'd like to get rich yourself, consider diversifying your investment portfolio with Masterworks, sponsor of this episode. Skip the waitlist and invest in blue chip art for the very first time with my link, masterworks.art/Ragusia. I have invested in a painting myself with Masterworks. I own a sliver of a painting by the British optical artist Bridget Riley. I have all of your other normal investments too, in the retirement and the college accounts and such, but Stocks and bonds and the like are probably in for some volatility, with geopolitical uncertainty and interest rates and inflation still causing difficulty. Warren Buffett sold over $33 billion in stock in the last 3 quarters. Sure, he has the luxury to liquidate assets for a rainy day, but does he know something we don't? Diversification is key for every investor, and one of the many reasons why super rich people have historically invested in fine art is that its value generally moves relatively independently of other major asset classes. Goldman Sachs and BlackRock say that the days of there is no alternative are over. Fine art has been seeing great numbers. In 2022, the big 3 auction houses posted record high revenues of a combined $17.7 billion, the best auction year ever. The statistics have been updated recently, and blue chip whole contemporary art has now outpaced the S&P 500 for the last 27 years by an impressive 136%. Masterworks buys artwork that they think will appreciate, they securitize them with the SEC, and then you and I can go online and buy shares in these artworks. Masterworks just exited their 16th sale a few weeks ago, delivering another double-digit net return to everyday investors who did not need millions or art expertise in order to get started. Past performance is not indicative of future returns, and exited investments are not representative of performance for artworks not yet sold. Do your research, find out if Masterworks is a good diversification option for your portfolio. New offerings have historically sold out very quickly, but you can get priority access with my link and simultaneously let them know that Ragusia sent you. Go to masterworks.art/Ragusia. That is masterworks.art/Ragusia. And I thank you, Masterworks. So, Kenji.
That was a segue.
Thank you. It's kind of my specialty. Back when I was a talk show producer at WBOR in Boston, and I developed a thing where like other people would like write segments of the show, but it was like Adam will write the transitions, or the ins and outs is what you call them, to get in and out of the commercial breaks that aren't commercial breaks in public broadcasting. Yeah, so I would always write the ins and outs because I have sick pleasure in like connecting dot A with dot Z.
Yeah, because I didn't even know where we were going, and we were already
You're already there. That's right. That's how it is with me. You don't know where you are, and then you're there. That's how it is with the goose. So pumpkin spice is, there's like a lot of things in our life that like are named after the thing that we have them with, not the thing that they are, right? Like there's a lot of, and people always seem kind of like amazed or frustrated or amused that pumpkin spice doesn't have pumpkin in it. But like, is barbecue sauce been smoked? No.
Sometimes it's often had liquid smoke added to it.
There's
it's often
that.
had liquid smoke added to it, but not
You
always.
come up with a better example. Come on.
I was going to say somebody sent me a container of something called chicken salt, which is apparently like something that people put on fries in New Zealand or something. And it does not have chicken.
It doesn't have little chicken like dehydrated stock granules in it. That could actually be pretty good.
But on the other hand, I also have a jar of I think it's Lee Kum Kee brand, but a Chinese chicken bouillon that has no actual chicken in it at all, and it's made from like
yeast extract,
MSG, and like six nucleotide whatever nucleotide extract stuff. Steak fries don't have steak, but you don't eat them with steak. I guess they're called steak fries because they're cut like steaks. I don't know.
You do not eat steak fries with your steak?
You do eat steak fries with steak, I guess, but I would think of them more as like you get them with a burger.
So we call them steak fries because they're big and meaty, maybe?
I think so. Okay. Yeah, maybe.
I remember one time I was talking about I forget what it was, but some, Japanese fried food, and I mentioned Tonkatsu sauce, which is the sauce that is traditionally had with a breaded fried pork cutlet. Right? And I mentioned that there's this Japanese sauce called tonkatsu, and I got a bunch of like Japanese speaking people being like, no, that's the name of that's like the modifier, not the noun. Right.
I wouldn't call the sauce tonkatsu. I would call it tonkatsu sauce,
which is like perfectly fine. On the other hand, what I just did, that mistake that I made, oh my God, that happens in like think of all of the things that we identify by the modifier and not by the noun. I just did a great transition into that commercial advertisement that we call a commercial because we have eliminated the noun in an elliptical construction.
Huh. What is that called? Is that a synecdoche? Is that there's something where the modifier means the whole thing? I can't remember if that's the right thing.
I don't know. All I know is that my bubby used to do a vaudeville show up in Schenectady, and it killed every summer. Anyways, fuck, what were we talking about? Okay, so
I don't know.
This is all gold. We're spinning gold here. So anyway, tonkatsu. So that's got to be how that happens a lot of the time. How we end up dropping the noun is that in some cases people don't know the noun. They're not familiar. They don't know what it means, right? And so you end up dropping.
But, that would be like a Japanese person referring to A1 as steak.
Right. But the thing is, I bet you there are things like that.
There are. I'm sure.
Like I guarantee you, that's like. I mean, it's like saying that like. I can keep this on theme. I can extend the metaphor and keep it on theme. What are Japanese style breadcrumbs
in Japan, called? There's a dish called Napolitan.
Oh yeah.
Neapolitan.
Oh.
Which is spaghetti, often with like bell peppers and onions, sometimes sliced hot dogs in ketchup.
Boom.
It's called Napolitan.
Perfect example.
It has nothing to do with Napoli. It has nothing to do with Naples. Nothing to do with being Neapolitan. And it's just referred to by its modifier.
Yeah.
Napolitan.
Yeah. Beautiful. I was gonna say that it's kind of like what are Japanese style breadcrumbs called?
Panko.
Right. Okay. So it's like when I will say like let's do some panko breadcrumbs, and then some asshole in the comments has to be like, panko is just Japanese for breadcrumb, and I'm like, thanks, buddy. Nonetheless, if I just say breadcrumbs, people could use all kinds of things. I could say panko.
People these days know.
They know what it is, and that's fine. But like they didn't know like 10 years ago. It was really helpful when someone said panko breadcrumbs when a white person was watching television, okay?
I remember when my wife and I first got married. My wife is from Colombia, and we speak a lot of Spanish at home. But we saw a commercial for something from Taco Bell, but they called it carne asada steak and queso cheese.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. But like language is full of things like that. Like that's not unusual.
Yeah.
Like that's, I mean, it's like, katana is Japanese for sword, but I can't just call it a sword. I mean a katana. Like it's not the same thing.
Right.
Like,
well, yeah. I mean, I think the thing that a lot of people who like to argue about language and be nitpicky about it forget is that the point of language is to communicate. Yeah. And so if you're communicating, I feel like the language is doing its job.
Indeed. And I think that people who are being pedantic, which for you and I to complain about pedants is definitely pot calling kettle black, but we're pedants in recovery, right? Like we're trying to be better people. And one of the things that I've tried to remember in like restraining my own language pedantry is like to interrogate my own motives. Like why am I being pedantic about this? It's because I want to show off that I know something that I think you don't. And that's not a good reason to like do anything. Like that's a good reason to shut up, to like holster that thought.
I mean, that's the old like I can't sleep yet. Someone is wrong on the internet. Webcomic,
Randall Monroe, isn't that guy's name? I met that.
I believe
I met that guy once. Because he lived in Boston when we did.
Oh, did he? Okay.
He might still be in Cambridge for all I know. But anyways, wow. How do we get back? So
what else was on your agenda here? Is it all pumpkin spice? I live in Seattle now. I live like in the hometown of Starbucks, which is like the birthplace of this pumpkin
is it
spice
like
latte.
Like is it like being in like the Cadbury town, like Birmingham, and everything smells like Cadbury chocolate, or like does everything smell like pumpkin spice in Seattle right now?
Most of the stuff here smells like better coffee than what you get at Starbucks. There's Starbucks here, of course, but
also a lot of people who know better.
You'll find like in malls and tourists.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot like the Starbucks in Pike Place and the big roastery in Capitol Hill. Like it's all tourists who go to those. There are many good coffee shops here though, including Cafe Vivace, I think, which just closed actually, but or maybe it's still open. But it was the birthplace of sort of what we refer to as third wave coffee now. Like doing latte art was invented at this cafe.
I didn't know that was called third wave coffee. What is define third wave coffee?
So third wave coffee is coffee that is generally sort of single source and is roasted a lot lighter typically, so that you can taste more of sort of the fruity and floral notes of the coffee. And then generally third wave milk drinks are made with a milk that is not foamed as dry. So that the crema in the espresso.
How
and
does
foam
one
in the milk
foam milk
blend.
dry? What? I'm sorry. No. Let me see if I can figure out what this means. I need to not be a grumpy old man. I can use context clues and I can figure this out for myself instead of throwing up my hands and acting like there's something wrong with the world because I don't know what a word means. Okay.
Right.
Foaming it dry. That's got to mean foaming it until it is fully transformed into a foam. It's no longer a liquid. It's now like fully a foam, and therefore
not
does
quite.
Not flow.
It's more a dry foam is more like what you would think of as like the bubbles on top of a bubble bath.
Okay.
You know, so you have this distinct layer of sort of larger bubbles that when you pick them up with a spoon, they can kind of sometimes hold their shape, or you can plop them down and the spoon doesn't really, and you can mainly get them off the spoon. Whereas what foam in sort of third wave coffee shops does now, you foam it with these kind of micro bubbles. So instead of having like a distinctly foamy texture, you get sort of a richer. It's not frothy. It's sort of richer and velvety. And so that foam layer, it's not really distinct from the rest of the milk. Like the idea is that you want actually the sort of the same texture in the milk all the way through. So even though in both cases you might be expanding the volume of the milk by say 40%, with a dry foam, it's going to be liquid milk on the bottom with bubbles on top. Whereas with a more wet foam, what people call a wet foam, it's going to be sort of a consistent consistency all the way through the coffee, all the way through the milk. That it reads as more. It's kind of the difference between say the head on a well poured Guinness, you know, versus just like the head on like a poorly tapped keg.
Yes, bubble size. Foamy, yes,
exactly. Bubble size and sort of the way it drinks, the texture,
tightness of the bubble structure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is the. I took this. I've been for the last month or so. I've been. I don't really drink much coffee, but I've been curious about how latte art is done, and I wanted to learn how to do it.
So pretty,
I've been, visiting baristas all around Seattle and sort of getting little lessons on it. And I quickly found that the most difficult part of the whole process is getting the texture of the milk right, and that if you have poor texture on your milk, like you can't make latte art. It's like trying to like paint with peanut butter.
Why do you reckon we tried to foam milk for use with coffee? Like milk doesn't want to foam. Like you really have to beat it up to make it foam. Whereas like cream, you just like look at it harshly and it turns into a foam. Why don't we like foam up coffee with cream instead? We could probably use way less of it.
Well, so if you try foaming cream versus whole milk versus skim milk, there's actually like a huge difference in the way they take bubbles. So skim milk, actually, it's very difficult to get a wet foam. You end up with a dry foam. You end up with a really sort of like really bubbly, big bubbles on the top. Whole milk, it's easy to get this velvety texture. With cream, it's hard. Like I think because of the ratio of fat to liquid, it's hard to get the foam to be stable in cream. But it's different from it holds it in a different way than cold. Like the temperature is completely different, I guess, and that I haven't really looked into why it matters, but cold milk will not hold foam, but warm milk will. But if you get it too hot, so like around 135, 140 degrees Fahrenheit is kind of the sweet spot for those velvety bubbles. And if you continue to try and foam beyond that point, and it starts to get hotter and hotter, by the time you get to like 155, 160 degrees, it breaks down into a dry foam again. So I don't really, I probably should look up sort of more of the science behind why milk and cream at different temperatures hold air differently, but it's actually harder. It's hard to get that texture with heavy cream.
Well, with milk, you would be
for whatever
milk
reason.
is going to be generally homogenized, right? And that's got to change the proteins on a.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of what you're buying if you're buying stuff in a carton at the supermarket, it's all homogenized anyways, whether it's cream or milk or skim milk or.
Why do you? It's all so beautiful, like the whole. I mean, I'm sort of a late in life coffee convert, and even then, I'm still back on black. I've not graduated to mixing things into my coffee yet. I'm still trying to like figure out how I like my black coffee, and I've recently converted into one of those douchebags with a Chemex, but the thing is, they're so good, and pour over coffee is like legit so much better. And
I mean, for me, I typically drink. So I don't drink daily coffee. It's just not like I'm not really a coffee drinker. I drink coffee sort of the way I eat chocolate, where it's like once in a while, I'm just like, oh, here's an interesting thing. I want to taste it. And so usually, if I'm drinking coffee, it'll be like an espresso or maybe a macchiato with a little bit of milk in there. But usually it's espresso because I feel like, I don't know, it's the purest expression of the coffee. It's like eating dark chocolate, where you get to really appreciate the more subtle flavors of the chocolate.
I'm not a coffee nerd enough to know, but I suspect that there are coffee nerds who would like take exception, because it's got to. I mean, I guess I'm thinking of whiskey nerds who like talk about how like a whiskey is better if it, some whiskeys swim well, meaning that like you can taste more of them when they're diluted with water, and that's certainly. I mean, I think there's people who argue that there's certain coffees that like. People will brew coffee super strong in order to hide the fact that the bean doesn't taste good or something like that,
You can, I mean, brewing strong versus an espresso is different, because espresso is not just strongly brewed coffee, and it's espresso, like espresso, it extracts through pressure and heat, and so you extract like oils more than you do in like a pour over, for example. So like all the crema on an espresso, the creamy top is oils that you've expressed from the coffee that are emulsified. So it's not just that it's a stronger version of black coffee, but all that said, like I'm sure there are people who would say, oh, you taste it better with black coffee versus and also that said, there are roasts that are specifically made for espresso versus drip,
exactly.
Blah blah blah. But typically, my take on all this is that if somebody is trying to tell me how I should enjoy something, if they're an expert, maybe I will try it the way they suggest, but it's not going to change the way unless I find that I really enjoy it more that way, I'm going to continue doing it the way I like to do it. And
that is the only.
I don't think anybody should feel bad about
that is the only correct opinion to have on that subject. But there seems to be a particularly large amount of guilt associated with like hot beverages. Like I don't, like the pumpkin spice thing. Like it's people like coffee with allspice and cloves in it, and there's like nothing wrong with that. I don't think, other than like the stinky residue of colonialism, maybe. But like, and then I mean, which. And then there's the reeking stench of late stage capitalism on there as well. But it's like especially like women get guilted on the internet and called basic bitches for liking coffee with allspice in it. What the hell is that? Oh. That seems really messed up.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, at least in Seattle, and I don't know if that's the case everywhere, because I've only recently started like occasionally going to a coffee shop, but I find there's a lot of like, there's places that serve like lavender coffee, or they have like the coffee of the month with like rose syrup or whatever. Like people will use various botanicals these days and flavor their coffee. And I've never seen it at least looked down upon here, but then again, maybe Seattle's just.
Well, you also didn't go into one of those places and order a pumpkin spice latte. I mean, it would be funny if you did, and in fact, get video of that, because that would honestly, Kenji orders a pumpkin spice latte at like a frou-frou Seattle coffee shop is like a piece of content that would go viral. Like if you decide you like money.
Well, Eric Kim, my colleague at the New York Times, Eric Kim, he just posted a picture of himself drinking a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks, and I thought that was like, oh. That's good. Like, I'm glad he did that. So if flavored coffee is good, but pumpkin spice coffee is bad, it's got to just be because pumpkin spice coffee is popular, and nothing that's popular can be good in the minds of the snob. It's that simple, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. It's the reason. Yeah, same reason why. Do people still say hipsters?
No, it is, but we're old men, so we can.
Same reason why any.
What? Why are men of our generation like all anxious about sounding like old men? I feel like our parents were like my dad still says stuff like, you turned me on to that song that I was gonna listen. Like he uses like fucking like that's like hippie shit. That's like boomer shit, right? Like they use boomer. Like what is wrong with us using Xer and early millennial lingo? It's fine. Let's sound like old men.
I don't think. Well, I think it's that we aren't the age that your father was when you remember him using that language. I feel like by the time my daughter is a teenager, I will have embraced my old manhood. You know, I think it's because we're at the cusp right now. It's like I still feel young, but my body is telling me I'm not very young. And then the fact that I have kids who speak a different language from the different slang from me is really telling me that I'm not young anymore. And you know, and on top of that, the fact that I work on the internet, and my audience is generally younger than I am.
Yeah, the internet. Cameras add 10 pounds. The internet adds 20 years. Maybe the reason that we think popular things are bad is because if something is popular and a person chooses it, there is a greater than normal likelihood that that person is choosing that thing not because they truly like it or are familiar with it or are a connoisseur of it or what have you. They're ordering it because they know what everybody else likes. And there is something kind of risible in that, right? Nobody wants to think
of themselves as a follower. Yeah, nobody wants to think of themselves as a follower. So you like if you want to be the one that bucks the trend, not the one that follows it, right? I don't know. I don't know. I guess some people don't mind it. I don't know, but yeah, I think that is the main reason why snobs are snobs is because they want to show how they are different and smarter and better.
Is there a particularly it's not exclusive to men, but is there like a particularly male thing here where it's like what is the implication? The implication is that like you're choosing this thing that everybody else likes because you don't know enough to know what you actually like. And because I'm a man and I therefore must jockey for status at every given second of my existence, one of the ways I can jockey for status is to show that I know myself and my own desires and preferences more than you know yourself, and therefore, instead of ordering the pumpkin spice latte, which is popular but I know I don't like it, I'm going to order the lavender latte because some reason, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's because everyone wants to be a leader, but it's the same reason why, you know, if Adam Ragusa goes to a Starbucks and you order a pumpkin spice latte and you post on Instagram like, fuck it, I love pumpkin spice latte, like you've suddenly become a leader again, right? Because now you are not a follower. You're the one saying, hey, everybody who thinks this trend is dumb, like, no, like I'm making it cool again, you know? So it goes back and forth that way, I think. I don't know. I do find, you know, when I embrace sort of, you know, lowbrow, quote, lowbrow things, like, all right, so my favorite thing when I go on if I'm at the airport before 9 a.m., my favorite thing to have is a McDonald's bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. And if I post a picture of a McDonald's bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit and I say, I love a McDonald's bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit when I'm at the airport before 9 a.m., like, I guarantee that's going to be like a million people being like, yes, like feeling validated that they also love this fast food sandwich that is, you know, by all accounts, like relatively trashy, but it's still McDonald's. I mean, well, the reason I love it, and now I'm just going to start talking about McDonald's bacon, egg, and cheese, but the reason I love it is because McDonald's like has figured out how to make something out of like prefabricated parts that still taste good. Whereas when you go to like the little mom and pop shop at the airport, you're getting just regular scrambled eggs from a steam table, and they don't have that like McDonald's magic, magic procedure that they do to whatever they do to them to keep them from turning into sort of rubbery steam table eggs. Anyhow, but people like to feel validated for their sort of, you know, basic tastes, right? Everybody has some tastes that are basic.
Do you think that's a legitimate service? Like that, letting them know that it's okay to like a thing that they like? That seems like a thing I try to go out of my way to do. I feel like that's a good thing to do for my people. Is it not?
Yeah, I always try, you know, especially in my, you know, my cooking videos, like I do always try and make it clear that, like, you know, I'm doing this because this is the way I like to do it, but there's nothing wrong with liking something different. There's nothing wrong with doing it a different way. There's nothing wrong with like not having access to the right cheese for this particular thing, you know, like, I always feel like, you know, the best cheese is the cheese you've got, or the cheese that you like, or whatever it is. Yeah, I do think people appreciate, not appreciate listening to someone who's not a snob, right? Nobody likes to feel bad for their choices, especially when
maybe they
enjoy those
should feel
choices.
bad though, right?
Well, in some cases, yeah, but certainly not. I don't know, not their choice of breakfast sandwich. I guess it depends. I guess it really depends.
I mean, I did a thing once in praise of Hershey's chocolate because I feel like, you could repackage that as hipster lacto fermented chocolate, or no, it's not a lacto fermentation. It's some kind of fermentation process that could theoretically result in the butyric acid that they're probably achieving chemically rather than
that makes it taste like
exactly,
vomit,
rather than through fermentation. But like, regardless, I like it. It's good shit. And I had like a lot of people say like, oh, it's actually not okay to like Hershey's chocolate because like all national, global chocolate brands, the chocolate is sourced from places where there's like child slave labor and shit, which is a real thing to be concerned about.
That's the part.
Now, I think I would maybe argue about like, where's the problem there? Is the problem there with the Hershey's chocolate, or is that like a political problem that is simply manifesting in many places, one of which being this chocolate bar? But like that's,
No, so I mean, certainly there are political reasons not to like things or to say to someone, hey, you might like the way this tastes, but consider the fact that when you buy this, you're supporting X, right? Yeah, of course, those are reasons. I just meant in terms of matters of taste, but it's different. It is.
But that's not true either, right? Like, shouldn't because we make our kids expand their palates all the time. We don't let them be chicken nuggetarians, like.
That's a matter of health, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the reason I want my kids to have their palate expanded is because I want them to be able to enjoy the full breadth of things. And if when they're 18 years old or whatever, however old they are, to make they decide, I never want to eat peas again for the rest of my life. Fine, but I want them to be exposed to all kinds of. It's the same reason that it's like I make my daughter practice violin, right? She got to pick an instrument, but we practice every day, 45 minutes, some days she's fine with it. Some days she doesn't like it. But by the time she's 13, 14, 15, she will at that point have the skills to be able to enjoy music for the rest of her life, or enjoy playing music. It's this thing where it's like, by the time you're old enough to think, oh, I wish I could play music with other people, often it's too late, right? It's like you have to, and the same reason, it's like, by the time you're old enough to say, hey, it would be great to like go travel to this country and experience the food, but like you have a really, really refined, a really, really small, constrained taste in food, and you're not going to be able to appreciate it. Well, sometimes it's at that point it's too late. So it's better to, I feel with kids, when they're still malleable, you want to expose them to as much as possible so that they have this freedom of choice later on in their life. I think that's a different thing. And of course, there's also, health. And giving kids a varied diet, of course, like you do it for health reasons, not just because you don't want them to only like chicken nuggets.
And there I am implicitly comparing our audiences to our children, which I'm sure they're going to love that. It's not going to smack of paternalism at all.
Right.
Speaking of which, I think you've got one asleep in a room nearby, so you probably need to hop off soon. Hey, let's do it again sometime.
Yeah. What time?
Kenji has an open invite on the Adam Ragusia pod. So, audience members, if there's anything you would like to hear Kenji wax poetic about in an unscripted and unresearched format, let me know.
I was actually going to say that I'm starting a podcast with my friend Deb Perlman, also from Smitten Kitchen. We're going to be, it's launching in November, at least one episode. And then I think the first season is going to launch in January. But when we are at the point where we're having guests.
Do you guys have a format in mind other than like these two awesome people talk about awesome things?
Yeah, it's called The Recipe with Kenji and Deb. I push for Deb and Kenji, but it's called The Recipe with Kenji and Deb, and it's about the process of recipe development. Because both Deb and I have been recipe developers for decades, but we both have sort of similar approaches in that we try and be practical and write recipes for home cooks, but we have very different approaches as well, and different audiences. So I think there's a lot of talk, a lot of rich territory to cover, and talk about sort of why we make the choices we make in the recipe development process, how we foolproof recipes, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it'll be fun. It's fun for us to do, and that's the main.
Can't wait.
The main
when does
thing,
it debut again?
We have one episode coming out in November, mid-November. It'll be November 20th, I believe, and then the whole first season will be out
Can't wait.
January. January, maybe February.
You're the best, Kenji. You're welcome here anytime. You make good choices, and I will talk to you next time.